Here on Hainan Island, the Boao Forum really gets underway today. The Prime Minister arrived last night, and this is the first leg of a 5-day trip to shore up relations between China and Australia. And it's quite a high-powered delegation. I mean, apart from the Prime Minister, we've got the Ministers for Financial Services, the Foreign Minister, and also the Trade Minister accompanying her on this trip. Today, at the actual forum, Prime Minister Gillard will meet Christine Lagarde, the head of the IMF, and then she'll be off to a sort of business meeting which is being hosted by FMG, the mining company, and that will see sort of companies like Westpac, Transfield and the like. You know, it's trying to really thrash out trade and business issues. But the most important thing for Julie Gillard on this trip really is to meet China's top two leaders. That is President Xi Jinping and Premier Li Keqiang. And when she meets them, of course, there'll be lots of issues, but the economy really does rule here. And when she spoke to us last night, the Prime Minister was leaving us little doubt as to how important she thought the China-Australia relationship was.
China, of course, is absolutely pivotal to Australia's political, strategic and economic interests. Our relationship with China is a strong one and it's a diverse one. Our trade links are, of course, huge, with China itself taking 1/3 of all of our exports. It's our largest trading partner in the exchange of goods and services.
But it's not only going to be talk about business between these leaders. For example, Prime Minister Julie Gillard said she'll be speaking to China's top leaders about human rights and specifically about Tibet. Now, that's got to mean this question of why Tibetans keep killing themselves by self-immolating at protest at Chinese rule. Now, if she's going to bring this up, it won't make China's top leaders very happy, but nevertheless, Julie Gillard has promised to raise the issue of Tibet and human rights abuses. And another thorny issue is going to be North Korea. Well, potentially thorny. That's because the Prime Minister has said she's going to call on China to really try and ratchet up the pressure on North Korea a bit. China's the only country with any real leverage over North Korea. And Julie Gillard's going to be suggesting, well, perhaps a little bit more pressure needs to be applied so as to attempt to get North Korea to back down a bit from this sort of push towards a stronger military, especially towards the having nuclear weapons. And here's some of what she had to say about North Korea.
Australia has made very clear its condemnation of the belligerent and provocative statements we have heard from North Korea. We have welcomed the fact that China has supported strong sanctions at the UN Security Council. I will be urging the Chinese leadership to use its influence to help with this issue with North Korea, and most particularly to help see an end to these provocative statements.
But of course the big issue is the economy on this trip, and we're going to hear a lot about it, about how important the China-Australia economic relationship is, and also how important it might be to try and, you know, diversify the relationship a little bit. At the moment, sure, we're selling a lot of coal and iron ore to China, and the Chinese are happy to buy it. But this Australian delegation would like to move the relationship into other areas, financial services, you know, to education. There are so many Chinese students now studying in Australia, and of course tourism. I mean, the Chinese tourist market is huge, as you possibly can see from this resort here. It's just an enormous potential delivery of, you know, money for Australia. And if we can tap into this, if we can get more and more Chinese tourists to come to Australia in the same growth patterns that we're already seeing, well, it could be quite a boon for the Chinese economy and also for the Australian economy.